America is in the process of becoming great again. After Donald Trump's victory, Lee Greenwood's song, God Bless the USA, hit the charts again 40 years after it was written. And Lee joins us now to talk about it. So you were out there, you saw Donald Trump playing this song at every campaign rally. It was so great to see. So what was it like to see your song play such a central role in this campaign and then see it back on the charts again 40 years later?
Well, it's pretty exciting. I've sang for 10 different presidents, and I think, the first entrance to the RNC was probably the 1984 convention with Ronald Reagan. And then I had a congressional appearance at the White House with the Reagan and Bush family. 41 became my very good friend. I worked on his campaign. So yes, he would speak, I would sing. It happened all the time. And then for 43, we worked on his campaign and did a lot of the rallies with him as well. He would speak, I would sing. Sometimes I would sing first. In this case, with Donald Trump and now winning the presidency again, they always play my song. And there's a variety of things that have went by the wayside where I would actually come on stage and sing with him. And when I do, and I see you have the Madison Square Garden performance there, I would sing, but he wanted me to sing the whole song. It wasn't like on radio where they can kind of turn you down and then go to talking. It's like he would come on stage, peruse the audience, and politely wait until I sang the whole song. That's an incredible honor for me, and very humbling to know that, I'm a farmer from California, for God's sake, and it's like that's pretty high cotton to sing for the president.
Lee, tell us about, how did this start with Trump? Like, when did you first meet Trump?
My wife was Miss Tennessee, USA, and so Donald Trump owned Miss Universe, and he owned it for 21 years. And so he sold it when he ran for president the first time. And then my wife and I would go to national pageants. She runs Tennessee, Georgia, and Mississippi, executive director. And so I would meet him occasionally at the pageants. I don't know that it had any bearing on the fact that he decided to use my song for his pageant. His pageant, that's pretty funny. That he would use God Bless USA for his campaign. However, he did, and I was flattered. And the conversation never ensued where he would ask me, can I use this or did it? The Trump team never called us. And the first time that we were sitting in a living room and I heard my song played before his rally, and he stood there just waving at people while it's being played. And I had the neighbors call me, and my wife come in, and so we sat on the couch and watched it, and it was like, man, that's pretty cool. And I don't know that there was any conversation about yes or no. And of course, then you saw I sang for the 2016 inauguration at Lincoln Memorial. And that's the second time I'd done that. The first time was for 41 at the exact same place. Security was doubled, however, for Trump. And now this time around, I'm sure security will be quadrupled to protect the president.
Absolutely. Well, that means that you've seen him in several different venues. You've been out there with him all over the place. So I'm curious, because you're out there on stage and you can see Donald interacting with the crowd, right? He has a different energy about him. His rallies have become infamous. So what is it like to be up there on stage and watching Donald Trump interacting with the crowd and the energy that's there in that moment?
Well, let me give you two instances. I was doing a private performance at Mar-a-Lago, and it was on the lawn outside, and there's about 100 people, and we weren't expecting the president. And I had my trio with me, so it was somewhat informal. And the president comes out and sits in the front row, casually dressed, just among his friends. And I said, good evening, Mr. President. Thanks for attending. So you have that environment. And then let's go to Madison Square Garden, where security was incredible. We had, 30, how many people sit in Madison Square Garden? Thousands, 60? I don't know. There was 100,000 people outside. I know that. It was just an amazing audience, very electric. And instead of playing my song, which would have been appropriate as an introduction, because he's done it all the way along, he actually said, I want Greenwood to sing live. So the Secret Service came to me and said, okay, when you mount the stage, stay to the left. we want the shot with just President Trump and his wife, Melania, by themselves. So I know my place. Sure, I stand over there on the side and wait till I finish the song. Well, as soon as the president takes the stage, addresses the audience, then he immediately faces me. I can't tell you how electrifying that is. That he would turn to me while I'm singing and acknowledge me when this is his show. I have no place here. I'm just a musician, a singer. So, like we precede, the important people. And for him to do that and then reach out and shake hands with me, I shook hands with the First Lady. And then, as you noticed, I left the stage. He kind of gave me a whack on the back, like, thanks, man. And, appreciate you being here, which showed his friendship and his loyalty to me as well. He's a very loyal guy. So I can't wait to see what he's going to do the next 4 years. Mm.
So was there a point at which, in your career where, it's probably multiple points, right? Where you had this moment where you saw this song sort of take off in this transcendent way? Did you always think about it the same way? Because it really is, it's remarkable. You're saying you're sitting on your couch, watching Trump, but it already had made this impact. How do you kind of think about the song?
Well, you'd have to walk in my shoes, because from the moment I wrote it, which is 1983 in the fall, then the record company calling it up as a single, which wasn't our intention. It was never supposed to be in the schedule of releases for me as a country artist. Universal was Irving Azoff, the president who actually made the call. And I compliment him for that decision, because it wasn't one that I would have made. And then move forward, and we have the Gulf War, for instance, where General Schwarzkopf used the song to energize the troops just before they went to war. And then President Reagan, remember my time with President Reagan, sang with him. And then we have the attack on America, which more of Americans then suddenly realized that we need something to bring us back. Not the national anthem, not God Bless America or America the Beautiful, and all of those songs, which are included on the American Patriot CD, by the way, which I recorded in 1992, the same year I married my wife. So I did two great things that year, not in that order. And so American Patriot is just released this year again, 32 years later, on vinyl. It was never recorded on vinyl. And I think that just the reason they did that, because God Bless USA now is on Spotify, Alexa, and all the download platforms, wherever you can find it. And they said, well, we're going to take advantage of that and release it on vinyl. See, it was only recorded on a CD before. And so it is a special occasion. This year is 40 years of my writing the song, and being released on radio.
It's incredible. And again, just thinking throughout my history with it, and just after 9/11, I was in high school at the time. Everybody was listening to it and playing it because you wanted that sense to feel the patriotism. And you can feel that right now, once again, back in the country. Lee Greenwood, thanks so much for joining us today.
And thank you very much. And of course, we have the God Bless USA Bible now.
That's right.
Which has had a great impact on this week, which is National Bible Week. And if people want to have it, by the way, you can have it. Here's a copy here. GodBlessUSABible.com. Thanks.
That's excellent, Lee. Thanks so much. Yeah. And Matthew, this is one of the things that we've talked about, is just the renewed sense of patriotism. It's cool again to love the country.
God Bless the USA Bible, right? .com. He's doing it. It's interesting, like the tracking of patriotism in the country and the ups and downs can kind of be tied to that song. That was fascinating. I'm sure that's old hat for him. He knows this already. Tell me something I don't know. But very interesting. I'd like to ask him some more questions someday.